You come from a long legacy of perfection. Your dad is Jean-Georges.
Yes, people tend to compare. How is the son doing compared to the father, etc.
Something like fusion was always, you wanted to keep cultures separate versus bringing them together.
Yeah.
And I think by doing that here, you're creating something completely on your own.
Yeah.
Cédric, I'm so excited to be here with you today. Tell me about Wayan and where this idea comes from.
My wife is from Indonesia, and so the whole idea here was bringing some of those Indonesian flavor to New York City. The decor is really based on wood and stone and greenery, all those elements from Bali, and this is what we kind of wanted to recreate, feeling like you're kind of traveling somewhere else. And then there's all the smell and the spices, and some dishes are pretty classic Indonesian with a little French technique behind it. Some other are a little more playful while still using some Indonesian ingredients.
How do you decide how much French technique you like to infuse into the Indonesian?
It depends on how much creative I want to be. I'm not trying to recreate those dishes, but I'm trying to elevate some of the presentations and techniques to make sure the flavor comes through even more. We had a restaurant in Jakarta, so we're traveling there quite a bit, where we were doing actually a Western cuisine there. And I'm like, you know what, we should do something Indonesian back in New York City.
You come from a long line of, or legacy, I should say, of perfection. Your dad is Jean-Georges.
Yes.
Tell me about that and what that was like, and when you decided that this would be something that you would also partake in. Was there pressure with having that sort of legacy?
So the family it's all about food. I mean, in France, half of my family is from northern east Alsace, and the other from Burgundy, areas where cuisine is very strong, wine as well. Eating with the family since very young has been something, which is normal. Lunches are 2-3 hours long, dinner even longer. I was born in Thailand actually, because my father at that time was a chef there. Kind of follow him around wherever he would be working. From Portugal, then he moved to Boston, Singapore a little bit, and then eventually New York City. And at the age of 9 years old already, after finishing school, I would go in pastry and help out in the kitchen. And in my mind, I don't think I ever thought about doing anything else than that. However, eventually we moved with my mother and my sister in France. He was not so thrilled at the beginning when my mom told him he's going to cooking school. He was like, do something else, don't let him do that. It's too hard. And it's true, I mean, the restaurant business is very difficult. I think he just wanted to make sure that's something I really wanted to do from myself and not just to follow my dad, what he was doing. And I think by saying that, it kind of pushed me even more to want to do that. When the parent tells you don't do it.
That tells me a lot about you.
Don't listen to your parents. And it's interesting, in France at that time, my father, he was exploding, in New York with Jojo and all those restaurants and Vong's. So did that bring me pressure? Yes. I mean, at that time, I did not like the fact that if I would go in a certain 2 Michelin star restaurant or a 3 Michelin star restaurant, that people would know that. I was actually using my mother's maiden name when I was applying to those jobs, because I didn't want it to have the last name give me either advantage or disadvantage in the kitchen. And then eventually, 18, 19, I didn't care anymore. I mean, I was doing my own thing and keep learning and keep traveling, and I was so focused on that it didn't matter. Now, of course, people, when they come to the restaurant, people tend to compare. How is the son doing compared to the father, etc. So yeah, it definitely pushes me to do better and have those standards within the family, but I don't let that be something that I keep thinking in my head, because it will affect my day-to-day and my creativity. So it's about food and pleasing people at the end.
Right, and I think one of the beautiful messages with that is in the evolution, right, of food, things have changed so much.
Yes.
Right, and I do think something like fusion was always, you wanted to keep cultures separate versus bringing them together.
Yeah.
And I think by doing that here, you're creating something completely on your own,
Yeah.
which is really cool. When the space came to be, you also have maiden, right?
Yes.
Another space. What did you want people to feel? Because I know this is important as a chef. What did you want people to feel when they came here and they ate this food?
What we wanted is have people, either they traveled to Jakarta or Bali or Indonesia and had those flavors, coming back here to get those flavors again, or people that never been there and be like, wow, this is something completely new to me, and people love it because it's different.
Yeah, which is respect to culture, which I think is always
Exactly.
important.
Yeah.
Has there been any challenges when you started to say, I'm going to bring some of my French into Indonesian cuisine?
I feel like maybe at the very beginning I was timid on some of those, like for example, shrimp paste, which over there they use a lot. If I make you smell, you're gonna be like, what is this? I mean, the whole room will smell that funky smell. But it adds, when you toast it and the way you add it to a dish, it brings this other different layer and depth in the dish, which is incredible. Eventually I lean into it, I'm using it, and now one of the sauce has shrimp paste in it. That's my favorite one. I love to use it as a dipping sauce. Things have changed. The feedback is very positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And Indonesian food is very layered. There are a lot of
Yes.
spices, there are a lot of ingredients that are used. How long does it take usually with a lot of these dishes for prep? Because I know prep is really important when you're doing things that are
Yeah.
layered in this perspective. What does a typical day look like?
Let's take a French dish and apply to that. Okay, so in Burgundy, you have the bœuf bourguignon, which is beef. It's been stewed until the meat is complete, right? I mean, it's delicious. Well, rendang is same thing. It's piece of beef, but instead of being through this red wine and chicken stock kind of, or beef stock kind of paste, it is cooked in this very aromatic chili paste, lemongrass, and lots of coconut milk in there until the coconut milk reduces so much and goes inside the meat, literally, infuses the meat so much that it becomes a paste, and the oil of the coconut breaks down and everything, and it sears the outside of the meat. It's a process that in Indonesia takes 2 to 3 days to make that dish. It's insane. Here, I mean, there's ways that we can accelerate things, but it still takes 10 to 12 hours to do a dish like that. And you have to be near it and make sure you stir it. So we break it down per station and cooks, they have the sets of dish that they have to make and sauces, and you have to be over it, and it's all about the love, and the care and the patience you put behind that. There are some sauces that are made daily, fresh. Some are done almost to order, and some takes 12 hours, like the rendang takes a little longer.
Having a restaurant is very much like a family affair.
Yes.
And everyone has a role, and those roles play a pivotal role in the food that comes out. You're a chef, you're a husband, you're a father. You have a very busy life. How do you balance all of it?
We try to balance as much as we can, like whenever we can. I mean, the kids, we see them early in the morning, at the weekends also, and we try also to balance that out with some nice traveling. And when we visit the family in Bali, in Jakarta, and I think again, what connected me with my family is food. And it's important on our weekend that I cook at home, or sometimes Grandpa, Jean-Georges, we all eat together, and this is how we connect. And the phone gets put away. We're having some conversation, a good time, and we eat food.
Do you think that any of the kids will follow in your footsteps?
I mean, in terms of being in the restaurant, they do their summer job with us. When we open in the Hamptons this summer, instead of playing video games, they're actually pretty excited. Is that going to be something they want to do in the long run? I'm not sure yet. Noah, 13 years old, seems like he's interested with pastries at the moment, so let's see.
You have a beautiful legacy of creativity and inspiration. It's nice to see that the generation that comes after, they still have that attachment to the culture, to the family. I would love to get in the kitchen.
Yeah, let's do it. You want to cook?
I mean, no pressure coming from you.
Let's go.
All right, chef, so tell me what we have. I see some beautiful lamb, and then we have some ingredients. What do we have in front of
So
us?
we're going to do lamb satay with a ketchup mayonnaise. Sounds like ketchup, right?
Yes.
But it's sweet soy sauce. Nice.
Okay.
Puree on it with some garlic.
Okay.
It's a quick marinade.
Mm-hmm.
Touch of salt. It over, and now this is ready to be seared.
Okay.
You
Even.
see sear on it, like
Okay.
the caramelization on it, the sear on it is really what brings the flavors. So sear on it, see that? So it's pretty quick actually, a couple minutes each side.
Look at that.
So we have those little pickle peppers, they're not spicy.
Yeah, there's more of a pickled brine.
Pickle brine, there's a little sweetness to it. So on your lamb, and very aromatic. The lamb satay is ready.
And here we go.
Gotta try with you too. Like dip it up here.
Oh my God. That combination, slightly sweet
Sweet aside.
and salty. At home, this is something that everyone can do. Obviously, it's not going to be like this, but with something so
Looks easy.
simple and delicious.
Here we're using black sea bass, so you see this beautiful black color. This is wild fish, so this is pretty incredible quality fish. Close this. We're gonna go in the steamer just like that.
Just
right?
like that.
Yeah.
And then just let it do its thing,
So now we have to wait.
which is fun. Great things take time.
Indonesian ketchup pepe, we call it.
It's actually very, very true.
Voila.
Wow. Okay.
Got steam nice. Now we open. This is how we do it at the table actually. And you have, you see, the whole fish, your lemongrass.
It smells so fresh.
And we're gonna take calamansi vinaigrette. And we are gonna pour that table side, just like that, over the fish. And voila.
It's so buttery.
Spoons. There we go.
Okay.
Might be hot, be careful.
Oh yeah.
Sweet fish, right?
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Chef. I think I'm gonna have one more bite
All right.
because we don't like to waste food where I'm from. I'm done. He went. Done.